Hello, my name's Revenge, coming at you again with another spicy Halo Infinite hot take here. For those of you who don't know, 343 Industries recently announced that Halo Infinite would not be launching with co-op or Forge. And I'm not mad. And the reasons why extend far beyond just the simple fact of I'm not into Forge and I don't really play co-op because my brother fucking ruined it for me. First, let's start with the obvious, the engine. The Blam engine may have produced some of the most influential games in gaming history, but it's also one of the worst to work with. Ask any Halo modder what it's like to work with the Blam engine, and they will tell you it is Spaghetti City. Especially Halo 2. Halo 2 is held together by duct tape and clown semen. All those fancy button combos and super bounce exploits, that's basically the engine shitting itself. And I know there are some people that actually defend the button combos like, oh, it adds a layer of skill. Yeah, if you had autism and octopus fingers. But getting back on track, Halo 2's engine is unforgivably bad. Why do you think 343 refuses to go near it with a 10-foot pole? Because it's broken as fuck. And the rest of the Halo games are here on in forked from that version of the engine. Good luck with that. Also, let's not forget that Bungie literally relied on nothing but internal memory, meaning people just pulled this shit from their head rather than any official documentation. So when Bungie left Microsoft, they basically left 343 with no sort of documentation on how the engine works at all. And they were literally expected to make a sequel to Halo 3, then a sequel to that with Halo 5. And seeing as Halo Infinite is very important for 343 not to fuck up, it would make sense that they need to make a new engine in the form of the Slipspace engine. And please do note that making a shit engine like Blam into a engine that doesn't make you want to put a gun in your mouth is not an easy undertaking, nor is it enviable. That accounts for the majority of Halo Infinite's development. And when it comes to the world of game development, from what I hear from people who have experience in game development, typically the real putting together of the game itself doesn't really happen until like the last 1 to 2 years of the development cycle. In short, video game engines are a cruel and fickle breed of bitch. Moving on to graphics, I will not deny that Halo Infinite definitely needed that year-long delay because those graphics were rough. But with that added graphical fidelity, that throws a spanner into other things in the game. According to an anonymous friend of mine who cracked open the files of Halo Infinite's models use procedurally generated masks versus traditional PBR. That's insane. Imagine the resources that had to be dedicated to make that kind of shader texture witchcraft. Resources that probably could have gone to, I don't know, co-op and Forge. But no, we gotta get those graphics! In my opinion, graphics are single-handedly the most overrated aspect of video games by far. Don't get me wrong, I like my games to look pretty, but there's a point where people are not going to give a shit. Oh, you realistically modeled a pimple on the main player character's face? Good for you, I'm not gonna remember that detail. Oh, you made the textures so you can actually read the nutrition facts on the bag of chips that I'm never going to pay attention to? Good for you, I don't give a shit. Oh, you made the firelight actually refract off my armor realistically while I'm committing several war crimes? Cool, I'm here to commit war crimes, not admire graphical detail. If I wanted to admire graphical detail, I'd go watch a fucking movie. Or play a PlayStation game. Because let's be real here, in the world of video games, gameplay will always trump graphics. Because let's be real, when it comes to graphics, maybe 20 to 40% of it, depending on the game, is applicable to gameplay. UI design, animations to telegraph attacks from enemies, lights, particles for guns, setting the right amount of visibility for the player, yada yada yada. The rest is inconsequential window dressing. Take a look at Call of Duty, for example. Those games have amazing graphics, but garbage gameplay. And sure, while those graphics are nice and all, they also fucking raped my hard drive. What the fuck is material optimization, am I right, guys? And the sad thing is, gamers will buy this shit anyways. And I know this isn't graphics related, but it is important. My anonymous friend actually hooked me up with the sound folder that had all the battle rifle sounds in it. There's 69 firing sounds dedicated to specifically the battle rifle. That is excessive and unnecessary. 3 for each environment type would have been fine. But you know 343, we gotta justify those millions of dollars spent on garbage sound design, right? What does having 69 firing sounds prove other than you probably wasted millions of dollars for details no one's ever going to pay attention to or care? But ultimately, it's not really 343's fault. It's Microsoft and its investors. 343 knows all too well that this would piss people off. They've spent the better part of 10 years with their asses up against the business end of a big criticism porn star cock. If 343 really had complete control over the Halo franchise, they would have delayed the game at least until they had co-op working. It's not like 343 can tell Microsoft to eat a dick, we're delaying the game. No, because Microsoft would say, okay, you're fired, eat a dick. And I know someone's going to say, but, Bungie had feature-complete games, and they didn't take nearly as long. Well, that's also because those games were made on simpler tech. Forge is the bare minimum when it comes to level editors. And that's to be expected because it was designed for console, not PC. Forge didn't really see any true innovation until Halo 5. I mean, don't get me wrong, Halo Reach Forge was great, but it was like more of the same, but slightly better. But as a sacrifice, the diversity of the Forge materials were shit. I don't even want to go into Halo 4's Forge because that is hot garbage. But then, in Halo 5, shit got crazy. Halo 5 Forge introduced terrain editing, scripting, very basic AI. There was stuff in Halo 5's Forge that you could pull off that has never been seen in Halo before. The unfortunate side, though, is that this never came at launch, and the reason why is because it's fucking complex. It's the most advanced level editor Halo has had thus far, if you're not counting Custom Edition. And as the market demands more and more of developers to make bigger, more complex, more content-rich games, the unfortunate side effect of that is the sheer size of modern games has become incompatible with deadlines. And unfortunately, games as they are will have to launch incomplete regardless of developers' and players' feelings. Because the head honchos at Microsoft and the people who invest in the game are the ones that ultimately call the shots. Should this game be delayed? No. You've had 6 years, launch it without Forge or co-op. This is the shit that you really should be getting mad about. Not the fact that the game launched without these features, but the fact that something caused this game to launch without these features. Flashy but needless graphical detail. 69, nice. Firing sounds per weapon, and a whole slew of other shit that needlessly rapes my hard drive and my graphics card. Ultimately, it's out of 343's hands, unfortunately. Microsoft's calling the shots and saying, bitch, you're gonna release this game, and you're going to release it on Halo's 20th anniversary. And to those saying that Halo Infinite won't last without Forge, just one thing. If Halo 2 can last its entire lifespan without Forge, surely Halo Infinite can last 6 to 9 months without Forge. And if it can't even survive that long without the use of Forge, then Halo Infinite is doomed from the start.